What's good? This is your man, Mr. Franklin, aka Kamikaze, the OG. Shouts out to all the artists out there and all the folks who supported the first installment of From the Mind of Mr. Franklin. This is the second week of the Generation Next statewide tour. Hattiesburg, we're coming your way. Zoe's Corner, Saturday, November 1st. Zoe's Corner, Generation Next is coming your way. And shouts out to Starkville because they made the Generation Next tour kick off something way above what I had even expected. It was a fantastic turnout, man. And shouts out to everybody that came out to the Hunt Club, the whole UGRR movement. That's up there. And if you've seen any of the pictures that have been online, man, as you see, man, there was power. There was great power inside of that room that night, man. This is definitely a Mississippi movement that's going to stick. Generation Next is a movement and it's a mind state. And we're going to keep this thing rolling. 5 years of Generation Next, and since we're in the second week of the Generation Next statewide tour, I want to drop another installment, man, and tell you some things that have just been coming to my mind lately as artists are now maneuvering, and I'm seeing things present themselves. I want to talk to y'all today about lazy, entitled artists. And we all know some, and not just necessarily artists, but lazy and entitled people, period. But you know, anytime you see good things and good movements go on, you see those lazy and entitled people begin to speak up and they begin to talk, because lazy and entitled people hate to see people who are actually putting in the work to actually promote themselves properly and actually invest in themselves. So they show themselves every time that this happens. The first thing that I've noticed is that some of you guys have used the internet as a crutch. The internet has become a safety net for a lot of you as it pertains to you promoting your career, not because you can't, but because you're lazy and you don't want to do any real work. You want to go in the studio, you want to come home, and you want to spam people your music because you feel like somebody's going to actually listen to it. And when I get into my inbox, I see such and such has tagged you and 49 others, or you and 100 others in their post. And it's music, it's a video, it's a flyer. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't listen to it. And anybody in the business that has been in this business for a while is not going to listen to it. And most of them are going to delete it. And most of the fans now that are on Facebook, because there are still fans out there left that want to hear good music, most of them delete it as well, because they've been inundated every day with artists like yourselves who have not made a personal connection with them, but who think that by spamming them music, it's going to work. Nothing wrong with sharing your music. Nothing wrong with posting it on your page. Nothing wrong with taking advantage of the technology that is social media. But when you use it as a crutch, it's not going to work for you. When you use it as a safety net and as an alternative to actually doing the work, it's not going to work. Stop using the internet as a crutch. Stop tagging multiple people. Stop spamming people. Stop adding people. Stop tagging people in your flyers. Stop tagging people in your music. And learn how to promote yourself properly in a grassroots fashion and organically. But that requires work. That requires actually getting in your car, going to visit people, meeting people face to face, getting connections, getting numbers, networking with people, letting people see you face to face, letting people see you pass out your flyers in these cities face to face. Real organic grassroots promotion. There is no substitute for it. And it should be used as a helpmate to social media. Social media should not be the only means in which you promote yourselves. You can't sit at home and make your career start to take off. It just can't be done. You can't sit at home and not attend events. You can't sit at home and not attend shows. You can't sit at home and not take advantage of opportunities to network with other artists. You can't not support other artists. You can't basically just sit around and do nothing and then expect for some prosperity to fall into your lap. It doesn't happen like that. The world doesn't work like that. The only way that you are going to be able to make it in this business is if you are willing to do the work. And that leads us to the entitled artist. And the entitled artist is probably the worst kind of artist that exists there, because in 2014, there are a lot of artists out there that feel entitled. They feel like simply because they exist, that someone should be there to hand them something, usually for free. Anytime they see something that has to be paid for, they instantly diss it. Anytime they see something that has to be purchased, paid for, or has to be worked for, they instantly diss it because they feel like it should be given to them. They feel like DJs exist to break their records. They feel like program directors exist to play their records. They feel like promoters exist to give them opportunities to open up on big shows or to get on tours or to be a part of showcases. Those entitled artists also spend the bulk of their time tearing down those events and trying to discourage other artists from being a part of those events, because those artists have figured out that it takes work and it takes investment in yourself in order to make it in this business. You're not going to get anything handed to you. You're going to have to earn it. You're going to have to invest in yourself. And when I say invest, I mean exactly what I said. Invest in yourself, which means if you don't have a budget, if you don't have a means to get a budget, if you don't have a means to participate in this industry in 2014, it's going to be very hard for you to promote yourself and your brand. Only those artists that are willing to work, only those artists that are willing to show up to support events, show up to networking events, show up and participate in showcases, show up and participate in events like Core DJs and Generation Next and any of these other events that exist. Only those artists who show up and participate in the process and that are willing to work are going to get those perks and are going to get those opportunities. Those are the people that step up and take advantage of those opportunities. The entitled artist is going to be the artist that sits at home and says that I deserve to have my record broken. I deserve to get played in the club. I deserve to be on that show. And life itself doesn't work like that. So you lazy, entitled artists out there, continue to do what you're doing, as I said in the first installment, and watch as other artists continue to hurdle you. As you sit back, as you expect things to fall into your lap, as you expect the state, wherever you might be, whether it be Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, Louisiana, Illinois, California, as you expect the entire state to know about you, but the only way that you are promoting yourself is through Facebook and through Instagram and through Twitter. When you are content with being a neighborhood superstar, and everyone out there knows what a neighborhood superstar is, that's somebody who's only known in their neighborhood. A lot of you neighborhood superstars have developed the Hollywood syndrome. And the Hollywood syndrome simply states that you have an inflated sense of your relevance. You have an inflated sense of your buzz, an inflated sense of your popularity and your relevance. When in actuality, you're actually not relevant at all because you have confined yourself to your neighborhood. You don't travel, you don't work, you don't put in any of the time and effort that artists that are really working to advance their careers do. And then you are the main ones that complain when other people get on shows, when other people are a part of showcases, when other people are able to take advantage of the opportunities that it presents them. You are the first person that we always inevitably see dissing it on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. You're always the guy who has something negative to say. And when we look at your resume and we look at what you've done, we discover that you've actually not put in any work at all whatsoever. People 30 minutes away from your city don't know who you are. People an hour away from your city don't know who you are. People on Facebook, people on Instagram, people on Twitter outside of your area don't know who you are. You don't show up to any events. You're asking people to repost your post. You're asking people to share your post. But I go to events all the time and I do not see you there. You don't attend. You don't network. You don't show up. You don't do any of the work except you sit back and you expect the accolades and you expect the help that the other artists get. And that's not going to happen. So to you lazy, entitled artists out there way, keep doing what you're doing, because you're going to continue to watch artists that are willing to work. They're going to hurdle you. They're going to jump over you, and they're going to be able to take advantage of those opportunities and take advantage of those perks that are presented to them. Okay. Shouts out to all you artists out there. See y'all Saturday, Zoe's Corner, Hattiesburg, Generation Next Tour. That's what's up. All of you artists out there that are actually working, that are actually investing in yourselves, shouts out to you. Salute you. We're going to see you on the road. Generation Next, baby. It's Mississippi.